All right, folks, one of the things I did do on Christmas Eve is watch It's a Wonderful Life. I just love that movie. Wish there weren't so many commercials on NBC when they air it, but I guess that's the free market. Joining us now to talk about really an incredible story is Kimberly Braine Tillem, founder of the Sophie House Community Center in Virginia. Kimberly, welcome and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Steve. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Well, it's my pleasure. You have a great story, and let me give you a little push to start it here. 2005, you're in Los Angeles with your 3 kids, your husband, and you separate suddenly, and you decide to move back to Richmond, Virginia, and you eventually wind up while you're struggling going into a deli, and I guess the Boy Chick's Deli, and working behind the counter is the man who you would soon marry, though you didn't know it at the time. You just wanted to give him 5 minutes, and the rest is history. So take it from there.
Pretty much the reason I used to go to the deli, I was newer to the Richmond area. I had my brother and his wife and 2 kids living here. My parents were living in Yorktown, Virginia, and still do. So I wanted to come back where the children had relatives. My ex-husband, his sister, husband, and 3 kids also live here in Richmond. And so I came back here so that I wouldn't be under, the direct protection of my parents. I knew I had to come out here and make it on my own, but also have the support of family. And that's why I came back to Richmond. The deli really was one of those places where everyone knew your name, and that's what I love so much about it. I was working 2 jobs, and in between my jobs, I would go to Boy Chicks and do some of my work. And that's exactly when I met Michael. Literally at that time, I had pretty much come to the conclusion in my mind I was good to raise my children with God and, with his protection and guidance. And it was one of those situations where I certainly wasn't looking, and Michael kept coming up and seeing what I needed while I was sitting there doing my studying, and I pretty much wasn't giving him any time of day, but he was a little bit persistent about coming back around and seeing what I needed. So that's really how the 2 of us met. I was a single mom of 3 at the time and working.
And like you said, Kimberly, you didn't think it was going to lead anywhere, and he was blatantly honest with you. He had his own set of problems that he was working on, and it didn't scare you. It drew you closer to him, and the 2 of you got married. We
did. We dated for just a little over a year, and then got engaged. And really, at the time that I met him, it was really odd. We met for coffee, and this was after 4 months of him trying to get my phone number, by the way. Definitely did not give it up easily. And we had coffee together at a local Starbucks here. And I thought it was going to be a 5-minute conversation, and we ended up talking for 2 hours. And I told him that day, I said, you know what, don't get any ideas about what I'm about to say, but I said, I just have a strong sense that you and I are supposed to do great things together. That God has great plans in store for both of us. And then I had the little side caveat of don't get any ideas.
Right.
I don't think it has anything to do with dating, and he just smiled. And
well, Kimberly, we only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to get to Sophie's house and
sure.
and talk about. Sophie's house was born shortly thereafter. Talk about what you do there.
Well, I started the nonprofit organization after many years here in Richmond of life coaching and mentoring other single women going through separation, divorce, and death of a spouse. And it was pretty much a vision that I had been given years prior when I was traveling across the country. But I had no idea how or when that would develop. And it was pretty much, me living day to day and working very hard to make sure that the children are provided for, and didn't know that, I moved here in just shortly after the separation and divorce. That occurred in 2005, moved here in 2006. And so the Sophie House was founded December of 2010. So we're a newer organization, only 3 years old, just celebrated 3 years. But I started it so that I would have that opportunity, along with partnerships with other organizations, churches, and businesses and nonprofits, to be able to encourage ladies and just give them that hope.
Well, listen, if anybody needs to reach out to you, tell us now how they could do it. You got a website?
We do. It's www.thesophyhouse.org, and Sophie is spelled Sophie.
All right, Kimberly Braine Tillem, founder of the Sophie House Community Center. Merry Christmas and thank you on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.